Hey yo, this is your podcast host Stan for the podcast Talking with Friends. Like, share, and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Hope there's something that's being said or done in the podcast. Somebody you heard say something that encouraged you to continue on your journey, continue through your season that you're going through right now. Hey, this is something quick. I want to let you know that whatever you need, whoever you need, is going to be added to your story as you go forth through your journey. Whether it be moving to a different city, whether it be starting a new job and letting go of your old job, just know that everything that you need, the provision that you need, is going to be provided. It's already in place, to be honest with you. Me personally, I moved from Virginia to North Carolina, married my now wife that I'm married to. We've been married, I want to say 2 months, 3 months. Don't quote me on it. Hopefully she don't get mad with me if I get it wrong. But yeah, I've been married and living in North Carolina for that amount of time, and it was an adjustment. It was a huge adjustment. I was used to Virginia. I was used to having immediate family around me, my sisters, my aunts, my cousins, it was perfect, it was comfortable. It didn't really require me to stretch as much. Me personally, I have a physical disability, so I utilize a wheelchair. So all of these factors played a role in my comfortableness. But God wasn't asking me to be comfortable in this season of my life. I said I moved. So when I moved, a lot of things had to be, I was thinking that things had to be a certain way. Meaning that to get in and out of places, being that I utilize my wheelchair, I'm thinking that it has to be 100% the same way that it was the place that I was leaving. And that wasn't the case. And, when I got to North Carolina, like I said, I married my now wife. The landscape wasn't the same. The terrain wasn't the same at our house that it was at my house in Norfolk. I like a little bit of struggle. Me personally, I think it builds character in me as a man, as a man, people really don't care that you have a disability. They want to know that you're going to go out there and get it by any means necessary. And that's what I had to adopt in the last, I want to say maybe 4, 5, 6 years. I had to adopt it. And so that's where I've been. So even when it comes to where I am now, there has to be a little bit of struggle for me. Once I put my systems into place, it's a wrap. I can do it. So going and coming, I was really concerned about things. And, I started thinking, well, maybe I made the wrong decision. Maybe I thought that this was going to be smooth. It's like, no, it's not going to be smooth. But just know that God is going to give you everything you need. He's going to give you the people that you need to sustain you in the new journey. In the Bible, it speaks about when God has given the people the instructions to build the Ark of the Covenant. And he's given them the instructions like right down to the T, how to cut the fabric, how to cut the wood. He gives them the instructions on how to do everything that is required of them to do. Now, so ordinary person listening to these instructions, you'd be like, I don't understand what that is, but there were master craftsmen, there was master seamstress in the audience, in the group of people that were listening to these instructions. So they knew exactly how to cut the wood. They knew exactly how to cut the fabric. They knew exactly how to do everything that was being said, that was being commanded of them to do to build the Ark of the Covenant. Now, like I said, anybody else listening to this might have been like, wait a minute, how do you cut? Like, what's a cubit? Like, well, how do you do this? But the people who needed to hear this were peppered in the audience, and they knew exactly what it was. They knew exactly what needed to be done. They knew exactly how to cut it, how to position it. So I say all that to say, wherever you go, wherever you find yourself, there are going to be people dispatched to you, like somebody sent for them to help you. There are going to be things put in place. It might not be the exact same thing that you had in your prior season, but it's going to be things that are going to be put in place for you to be able to sustain you, that's what I'm trying to sustain you in the season that God has you in. Once again, this is your host, Stan, for the podcast, Talking with Friends. I hope you guys get something out of these episodes. These are episodes that God sends me these downloads, and they don't feature anybody else. I know usually, when I have a guest on, my views and my listenings go up higher, but these are just downloads that God gives me, and I give it to you guys. Hopefully that you guys can get something from it. Provision is set in place for you. Just remember, if you don't get anything else out of this episode, know that provision is already set in place for you. And if it's not set in place for you right now, it's going to come at the rate, the speed, the timing that you need it. Once again, this is your host, Stan, for the podcast, Talking with Friends. I love you guys. Have a great day.